Good evening, everyone. Tonight on our program, the standoff between lawmakers and the Bank of Ghana will get reaction from banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuahene, who says the central bank was right to decline an invitation from lawmakers to investigate the revocation of licenses of UT and Unibank. He's rather urging Parliament to rather consider a review of the banking sector. Also tonight, government clears almost all energy sector debts owed banks and power companies. Plus, Tallow Oil announces an end to restructuring of operations, which saw massive layoffs and freeze on dividend payments. We'll hear from Visiting Group Chief Executive Rahul Dio.
I've been through, like I said, many cycles. I've learned my lessons. So I think we'd like to make the business resilient so that when there is another downturn, we don't have to do that. But look, this is
Business Live. My name is Darryl Kwao. Details coming up after this break. Well, welcome back. Tonight we start off from the banking sector. The Bank of Ghana was right to decline invitation by Parliament to assist with investigations into the revocation of the banking licenses of defunct Unibank and UT Bank. That's the session of banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuahene. According to him, the central bank has the power per the Banks and Specialized Deposit-Taking Institutions Act to turn down the invitation. The regulator has argued the decision to decline Parliament's invitation is according to its statutory powers under the Banks and Specialized Deposit-Taking Institutions Act 930. Banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuahene spoke earlier on the marketplace.
The basis stems up from the BSDI 2016 Act 930. If you read section 140 and 141 and 142, is explicitly stated that if you have any grievances concerning your withdrawal of license, there are due processes that you have to go through, but Parliament was not mentioned anywhere. If you give me time, I will tell you some of the processes. The first line is that within 30 days, if you feel aggrieved, you appeal to Bank of Ghana, and Bank of Ghana will refer to the Chief Justice, which the Chief Justice would have to appoint a judicative panel to review the case. And if the panel review the case and you're not satisfied, then you have the right to go to High Court for a review. And if you're not satisfied, then you go to arbitration, where you go to the dispute resolution, where it is clearly stated where you can go and solve yourself. Yeah, in democratic governance, you're right, because I even checked the Constitution to find out that powers that the Parliament has got. There was nothing like that. And I go back to the law.
Meanwhile, Dr. Etuahene is urging Parliament to rather consider a critical review of the banking sector.
What the Parliament should have done, which to me meets international best practices, is that when all the dust are settled, then the Bank of Ghana should take, the Parliament should take an overview, that's to look at the whole sector, what brought about the whole hulu-baloo in the sector. You don't single out two out of the 9 banks and the 347 microfinances and the savings and loans. They should take their time. When the debts are settled, then they should look a total critical review of what happened. What lessons have we learned? How do we stop this happening in the future? And if it happens in the future, what will be the strategy? So these are matters after the court, because the thing is already pending in court. The case was already pending in court. So if you go to court and the court say that they are guilty, and you say Parliament is not guilty, who takes the show? Because Bank of Ghana is taking its power from the act that was actually passed in 2016. And it is explicitly stated, as I've told you. So if you bypass it, what you're saying is good. It's done in other jurisdictions. It's been done in UK, it's done in America, it's been done in Nigeria. So what you should do is that you let the dust settle, and then you look at the whole sector, rather than picking one or two. Because if you pick 1 and 2, what have you done to the other 7 or the other 347 microfinances? So I think they have the right to do it, but they don't do it while the thing is in court. And when you're doing it, it's a different objective.
Well, this story is still unfolding. We'll keep following for you. We'll see how the standoff between lawmakers and the central bank ends. Turning to energy news now, government has been able to clear almost all the energy sector debts owed banks and power companies. The debt cleared is a little above 8 billion cedis out of the total 10 billion cedis, but there appears to be some areas that the government may have to clear apart from the energy sector debts. George Afe has more.
These debts were cleared by the ESLA PLC, the special purpose company created to clear these debts. The firm then went onto the market to issue bonds backed by what it was hoping to get from the taxes imposed on petroleum products, that is the energy sector levies. According to the report covering how the ESLA monies have been spent, and in March this year, it showed that the levy had brought in a little over 5 billion Ghana cedis. The company has used part of it to pay off the bondholders who get the monies to the ESLA PLC. The report also showed that the energy levy's performance was impacted last year because of COVID-19, an indication that it could by now have raised all the monies to clear the debt. We also can see that based on the debt cleared so far, government is now left with 2.6 billion Ghana cedis to pay the banks and the power companies. The state might now have to turn its attention to the bondholders and pay some 7.6 billion Ghana cedis ending May this year. The Energy Sector Levies Act was created in 2015 to help provide funding for the power generation firms and clear legacy debts in the energy sector, a move that would have opened the sector for some fresh investments and put it on a strong footing going forward.
Now, Tallow Oil has announced an end to restructuring of its operations, which saw the firm embark on some massive layoffs and freeze on dividend payments. The move, which was necessitated by dwindling crude prices, forced the firm to also embark on several cost-cutting measures, which even resulted in some Ghanaian workers being sent home. However, there are fears that with the company recently hit by COVID-19 shocks, there could be another round of layoffs. But Visiting Group Chief Executive Rahul Dew insists his outfit has dealt with the challenge. He has been speaking about this, among other issues, during his recent visit to Ghana.
There are two things. So I think the short answer is kind of yes, but I think this business, I think we're very excited about the potential we have in front of us. I think I look at today as if it's a completely fresh start. So it's like I just said to you, George, we just discovered 2.6 billion barrels of oil, and somehow magically, I don't know how, nature, God, whoever you believe in, put all this infrastructure in place. So in that sense, yes, I think it's to me, it's very, very exciting. I think it's also humbling because we are dealing with nature, we are dealing with very complex technology, very complex engineering. So we cannot be complacent. And every day, we always talk about this. I'm an engineer. We always talk about this. Every day requires attention. Every day requires resilience. Every day requires a continuous focus, right? So I don't think that we will ever, I would say to you, if we're sitting here a year from now, I would say to you, George, we could declare victory. So I think we have excitement. I think it's a new phase. I think there is a tremendous opportunity. I think we've built a good foundation, but we're not complacent. We cannot be.
So as I asked you earlier on, so if there will be any shutdown, this will be normal routine maintenance because of the kind of work that you've done over the period.
Yeah, so I think that the shutdowns that happen, right, is if you have either structural issues, right, which go back to kind of like the TRP thing was a design flaw, right, or it's the absence of regular maintenance, or it's the absence of work on integrity. So I think the team have focused a lot on clearing a tremendous large backlog of maintenance, integrity things, and all of that stuff. So as a consequence of that, the more work that you do which is regular, the less unexpected shutdowns you have. So today I would say we're in a much better place than we were even last year. And going forward, the goal is very much, it'll never be, you always aim for perfection. It's never quite perfect, but like, if you have a 98% uptime, that's a, just to give you a sense, George, we are planning for about a 95% uptime. That's the kind of more expected run rate. So you'll have some issues. You need to plan for those. But for the most part, I think through discipline, this is what I was saying to you earlier, that you need to pay attention on a daily basis, on an hourly basis on your operations. And that's the culture we're building. That's the mindset we're developing in Tallow.
Do I get the commitment from you that as we speak now, in terms of the restructuring of the group and even the Ghana operations, you brought that to an end, or, well, it's early days yet, it's work in progress?
No, I think that it was, I've been here 11 months. I had a roadmap for myself when I first joined, where it was sort of like you had a house on fire. So somebody said, look, what is your mission? I said, well, put the fire out, right? So so I think the fire is out. I think the fire is out. I think we are in a stable position. I think we will continuously, as hopefully you get to know me better, I'm always restless. I was saying, how is tomorrow better than today, right? So we'll keep doing that. But that's a very deliberate thing. That's not crisis-driven. That's not, you're not knee-jerking on that. So I think when you're in a stable place, you're calm, you're taking balanced decisions. So I think today, as we are, I think we're in that place. And I think we will strive for continuous improvement. That's going to be our culture. But the sort of big things, I think that's sort of, my plan, which I'd set out, I think that's...
Will we see any further layoffs again?
Hopefully not. Look, for a leader, I think it's the most painful thing if you care for people, because, a lot of the stuff happened before I came, but I certainly kind of inherited a lot of that process. And it sort of breaks your heart because it's a personal thing, and I have historically done this rule that every person I will talk to in previous companies, I'll talk to them myself, because it's a human thing. And so as a good manager, you say, look, can I make my business resilient so that we can provide an enduring career to people, we can provide people stability, because it's people's lives, right? So look, it's not something that you come to very lightly. I've been through, like I said, many cycles. I've learned my lessons. So I think we'd like to make the business resilient so that when there is another downturn, we don't have to do that. But look, this is the effort.
So nobody should see you as a Hajat man coming in to...
No, I don't think anybody has kind of said that. I think it was more. Look, this was the third company I'm running, George. I mean, my first two were businesses that we built from the ground up. So I'm more of a person who builds rather than cuts. So I feel like the last year has been challenging because we've had to do a lot of difficult things. But now I feel like I'm in a place where I'm happier.
All right, George Rafi interviewing the Viston Group Chief Executive of Tallow Oil, Rahul Dew, there. Interesting conversation. Still to come, Ghana's direct bank to any account contactless payment service, myghqr.com, has been officially launched by leading payment service provider Haptel. We've got that story coming up after this break.
On Money Lab today, we are going to look at how micro, small and medium-scale enterprises can position their companies or businesses to be investor-ready. The key and foremost thing that they need to look out is to put together a good business plan. A good business plan needs to outline what the company wants to achieve, how they intend to achieve it, and the timelines that they have set in place to accomplish it. So you start a business plan with the kind of industry in which you are operating. So you are operating in a services industry, you need to clearly state that. If your industry is an agro-based industry, you also need to clearly state that and talk about all the things that are important in that industry. It is also very important that a business plan captures the products and services that the company is offering, and also how internal and external forces can affect the company positively or negatively. Investors look out for this plan in order to take informed decision on whether they want to invest in the company or not. Join us in the next edition of Money Lab as we continue our discussion on how companies can get their businesses to be investor ready.
And welcome back to the Bulletin tonight. Ghana's direct bank to any account contactless payment service, myghqr.com, has been officially launched by payment service provider Haptel in collaboration with the Ghana Interbank Payments and Settlement System GIPS. The service allows anyone, businesses, small merchants and mobile money users to receive payments from bank customers that have GHQR on their bank app. There's more in this report.
According to Head of Product at Haptel, Patrick Asare Frimpong, the service eliminates the need of paying in checks or using POS card in order to receive payment into your bank account. He further indicated that Ghana's first ever service portal enables direct bank-to-bank transfers.
So GHQR is a service that has been designed by GIPS, or Bank of Ghana, that makes payment from bank to bank easier. And what myghqr.com is doing is a service that has been built. It's a self-service portal built on top of it that allows you to be able to create a unique QR code and then be able to link your bank app to it and receive the money instantly into your bank account. So that is what we've done.
Also, he assured users that the portal is safe and secured, hence businesses and mobile money users of all kinds can generate a unique GHQR code, link it to their account and receive payments instantly from GHQR users.
Now, it helps in security, so it's very secure, it's free, and it's very simple to create. And as I was showing the demo, you could see that you just take 3 steps. You just give us who you are, we validate you, you give us your bank account, you link it to the account, and then you generate your GHQR code. So it's a secure, fast way of receiving money as a business to your bank account.
The introduction of myghqr.com follows efforts to make Ghana's universal quick response camera scan and pay service one of the regular modes of payment that is easily accessible to customers and business outlets of any size.
Now, the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana has charged all its members to support and pursue the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda in order to modify the tastes and preferences of Ghanaian consumers in favor of made-in-Ghana products. According to its president, Dr. Daniel Kasati, marketers owe it as an obligation to support the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda of government, adding the preference for made-in-Ghana goods will facilitate the growth of micro, small and medium-scale enterprises into giant institutions going forward. There is more in this report.
Dr. Kasati urged all marketers to incorporate the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda into their strategy and make it work at all costs. He disclosed this when he inducted 102 full associate, emerging associate, graduate members and honorary members, as well as 2 corporate members into the CIMG.
As you step into the corporate world, there are 3 absolute necessities you require for success. These are the right mindset, digitization and the use of technology, and customization. As marketers, we owe it as an obligation to support the wonderful Ghana Beyond Aid agenda of government. We can do this in many ways. 1, by helping the huge proportion of Ghanaian businesses which are classified as MSMEs and reported to be contributing some 70% of the nation's GDP. We can also do this by helping to modify the tastes and preferences of Ghanaians in favor of made-in-Ghana products.
He, however, expressed worry about the adulteration of the nation's culture with Western norms and values. He told Joy Business that all Ghanaians must be proud of their culture, which differentiates them from other nationals.
First of all, we need to come to terms with the fact that our cultural values are not, outdated values. They are values that we should cherish. They are values that we should, promote. So right from the home, what do we teach our children? What language and dialects do we encourage them to speak? What kind of movies are we exposing them to? Now, what are their tastes and preferences like? I have said that if you take your child somewhere into a restaurant to eat, you, the parent, you give the guidance. Pick the Ghanaian-made foods on those menus. Next time the children on their own go somewhere, that is the food they will eat. So I say, ask for a preference. If there's agbalika klo, eat it. Ask for, yake and something like that. Treat these as if they were delicacies. Anytime you go out with your children, go for them, and less of the Western foods.
The inductees are coming on board at a time when the CIMG and the entire marketing fraternity in Ghana is celebrating the passage of the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana Act.
And that's Business Live tonight. Thanks for watching. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. You can read that story right there about government to borrow 2.9 billion cedis in fresh funds between June and August 2021. You also have more on our top story tonight from banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etiahene, who is saying that the Bank of Ghana was right to decline Parliament's invitation to probe the collapse of Unibank and UT Bank. That's Business Live. My name is Darryl Kwao. We're back same time tomorrow. Don't go anywhere.